just got off the phone with Jens about 15 minutes ago, and they are going to get on them and get the samples going. So there will be 6. There's 2 over on Smith Brothers' site, and 1 is close to our property, and the other is further north, because they're trying to figure out if it's, There are two borings on the LML site that are somewhat west of the treated area. They are designed to try to delineate how far west the pollution is. So if they come back in pretty good shape, that means that the west 3/4 of the property is pretty good. And then there's 2 bores in the parking area. So that's the 6. They're going to try to get them into schedule and process. Does anybody have further questions about that? Jackson Line, you know anything?
Last time I had a conversation with him, we had settled on a firm to do all the work. He was in discussion. The county is requesting a survey, which is $3,500. He does not want to have to do a survey because there are pins already existing. And so I don't know where he's at with the county and Walker and Associates right now. But I know that Walker and Associates came in at the best price for him. He's happy with the price, but he's not happy with the survey cost. So I will.
Was this survey? Was the survey done? Do we have a copy?
Yeah, we had.
I thought we did. I don't know because we did because the west lot we married with the Van Buren Flats property. Right. So I know that we had flags out there.
I mean, we had a survey.
Okay, I'll see if I can find ours.
Then the Van Buren Flats.
Okay.
We didn't transfer our
property. We don't know what the requirements might be, but
well, since we didn't record
$35 for sellers. I've had it up with them multiple times. That
they might have reported.
For some of us, that's a lot, but for some of us, it's not. So.
There's pins there.
Come on, you're trying to play logic into That's not good. Anyway, so I do understand they were trying to get the development plan through the county.
Yep.
And has the county acted? Or
not yet. Not yet.
So that's it. Any further questions? Next one's Bowman. Okay. Bowman did submit, and somewhere in this pile of junk I got it. He did submit some invoices. Yes, you those total approximately $101,000. There's another one that he's got that's coming that will bring the total to like about $140,000. If I remember correctly. This is work. I went down and physically looked at it. This is work that is complete.
So did I. I would agree with that. And just also for everybody, his loan with us is done at the end of December. He's on time and caught up.
So anyway,
these look like exterior improvements.
Those are all exterior.
I was in that alley end of last week and thought to myself, that building looks a lot better.
Oh yeah, it did look pretty bad.
Yeah, right. That's the bar worse.
And the day I went down to walk around the place and see, the doors were open, so I reconstruction work on the right-hand storefront. So, they're trying to get that to be, leasable. There has been a fair amount of work done on the upstairs apartments.
David, you'll be happy.
Anyway,
Again, I'm interrupting. David, you'll be happy to hear this. He wants to come back to us for a loan to do the apartments.
Yeah. We're going to have to allow them for the time to have to increase change.
yeah, if he's a man.
Got your big North stamp already?
So anyway, I'll get with you sometime when we get all this and we'll talk this through and you can figure out what it is. But all these are extra day and they are complete. So,
Well, and the other two elements I'm going to give you is the letter I sent him in August said that he does have an interest payment of $2,838.83 due by September 26th, and that's also the deadline to submit this kind of stuff. Hopefully that will allow me and Carl to then parse through and come with a recommendation back here as to any possible principal reductions before we commence the regular monthly payments with interest and income at the end of October. So this actually is kind of working the way it's supposed to.
yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, once I get this other invoice that he has, I will get it to you and we can set up something. So,
for the public record, will you just list off a couple of those improvements that are part of that $100 and some thousand?
a lot of it, but a chunk of it. Okay, he has of the ones that have been turned in. This is the stonework on the front of the building, which was 14 kilobucks, and then the next item on here was I think these are the windows in the main part of the building. They were 34.8, and these were the windows in the storefront and that was 15.3, but there was a lot of rebuilding that was required to put those in. And this one was to paint the building, which was 24, and this then is for the overhead doors in back. The one that's coming is for all the top pointing and reconcreting work, and the back end of the building, or the far side of the building, was falling down, so they had to rebuild the concrete blocks in there to be able to put in, and then they did install two new overhead, I think it was two new overhead doors, and they installed some new walk doors in that area of the building. So he's growing. I mean, if I remember right, I thought when they had to put like $155,000 into this building in the exterior in aggregate to wipe out the and so if that's the case, they should probably.
Were you able to, or have you been able to ascertain what his plan is for the main floor? We know about the apartments, but does he have a plan at all for his?
He's trying to rebuild the store. He's trying to get the storefront to the right, rentable condition, so somebody can go in there.
Okay.
He was talking about the possibility of maybe making a kitchen out of the other side for his stock, because I don't think it's worth an operation kitchen. It's an overworked stand, so the kitchen's probably not adequate. So, does anybody have further questions? Okay, hearing none. Landscaping, Radio Road, and SR9.
Locator called in. She's supposedly ordered the plans 2 weeks ago, so hopefully here in the near future we will see some progress.
Good.
Yep.
Who waters those?
Mother Nature.
We're in a drought.
Yes, we can.
I kind of hope, I'm sorry, but I kind of hope it extends out a little further and gets the fall months where we might get a little rain, so I'm not watering as much, but yes.
Getting a new
Thank you, Carl.
They weren't good. They weren't good to Walker when he was around. Yeah. It's true. Anyway, so that's it. Okay. Does anybody else have any other old business? Okay. We got 3 facade giants.
4.
War's 2 on the agenda.
Well,
But there's
today.
a third one that was handed to me on the way up the elevator today. Anyway, so if we're looking at them, we can go from there. Unless you want to, you can keep it. No, I don't. You can keep it. This is Whitley County Real Estate. And they're painting the building and they're replacing some stuff. It's over across from where the house is. Yeah. It's the building that had white top with black windows in it. Now they're doing some painting on it. I saw they were doing painting on it yesterday. And they're replacing doors, they're doing painting, they're doing some brick and metal repair. Yeah, it was the building, I think, that they were in. The total project cost on that one is $52.21. So if we're doing half, and we got a $3,000 limit, that's like, $2,800 in that range. Any questions? They have submitted most of them. I think what
time it was like an application for a liquor permit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's over on the other.
I think it's there is a liquor license, I think, for both.
Tina Hauser and the other one is required.
No, but they're doing 2 downtown.
Yeah.
Tina and her daughter are. They're doing the hobby shop and B&B.
And that's separate from what Leanne's doing. Those are 2 separate things. Tina and her daughter Adelaide are doing the former hobby shop and BE, which is the one that's in front of you. Leanne is working on the Nook building, which is over here. And those are not associated with LT specifically. 2 separate. So.
Yeah, they're owned by it.
And there, I believe there is a liquor license request or approved for both buildings.
Well, I think the real estate is just the owner of the building.
It's not going to be a real estate.
Realtor or real estate brokerage. I think that's just like Bob's LLC.
Carl, what was the request number? I know.
The request number is $52,021 divided by 2.
2221. Okay, thank you.
Because I think we've been doing 50%.
That would be 2610.50, or somewhere around there.
And I won't write it down.
2611. How about that? Just round it.
Means about. Anyway, so that is the one. There is the pictures. There's that's a current flag. I don't think I've ever had, and that's the. And that was that's a one bid. This is the door, which was $1,300 and some odd dollars. This is the other door, and this is the warranty deed, and there's the easement agreement. The application is complete. Anyway,
Carl, just for clarity's sake, I'm sorry, just for clarity's sake, the 5,000 number that you gave, that's in totality. That's not a portion plus the door.
That's not what we're doing. No, that's that. The 5,000 is in totality.
That's all the product. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yep.
And if I remember correctly, we fund 50% up to $3,000. So their 2,700 is within our guidelines. I suppose we might as well vote on it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Is that for 2611 then?
2610.
2610. Okay.
All right. The next item on the agenda is this is Babe of Whitley County's with the sign, and they're going in the old Redmond building, which is owned by some derivative of Andy Moore. They have given they're going to be they're going to lease the building from them. We do have, included with it, we do have the easement agreement. Easement agreement. That's it is massive, large.
Well, was it at the beginning? Was it at the end?
Must be in the middle, right? Too bad it's not like 1,000-page book. This is the the total cost of the project is they're giving it a range of $2,473 to $4,377.
Because they got a couple of different estimates.
I assume that might be.
In the practice of the past, it's lesser.
Okay.
I didn't understand the second estimate because it had more things on it. I don't know if that was still sign stuff or is it something like vinyl doors? I don't know if that's still a sign thing. What do you think, Carl? Look at that. So the one is just a sign, and then the next one they estimated.
Oh, there,
that's the sign one, and then this is next page. Then there's other things, but I don't know what that is.
But there's doors, there's top section, and door bottom section, so apparently they're going to be replaced.
So the first one just has the sign, the second has the sign for doors.
Sign on it, they've got a picture. My guess is that the ones that have is the parking lot side finishing.
So, my suggestion would be, if you have a range and both of those ranges don't max out the 3,000, if you want, just vote on paying 50% of the sign cost within that range, whatever that range. Because ultimately, you're not going above 3,000 on either of those quotes, so you might as well just. I mean, if you support the project, then that would be the way to vote, I think.
Let's get the building used. That's good. I mean, so it's occupied where it's sitting there.
Yep.
Good. And they are doing a lot of work on it because I noticed they actually go inside the building. Yeah. Where they're replacing apparently windows or something.
I just told the mayor they pulled back and they have the old glass above the windows that says Cadillac and Buick, and it's kind of cool right now. So, yeah.
So if that would be the case, it would be 4,377 divided by 2.
$21,880.50.
Would that be up to the 21,8850 then? That's sort of the cap.
Is that the high end?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the high end.
Just to be clear, though, on how we're doing it, other items.
Yes, that's why it's confusing.
They're replacing some buildings.
Well, do we want to say signage and other?
And other stuff.
Up to
Because-
50% of the maximum bid.
Because the doors are a part of the facade.
I don't know, but if.
Yeah, well,
The way we have to
the
set
way
the
one
contingent
thing
is
goes,
if the doors are a part of the facade, then yes, you'll go up to that amount.
Right. So, I
When
guess
this
to me,
thing
it would
came
be
in,
signage and other facade improvements, because if they're
that's
not,
the street.
Well, sure. If they're for the back doors in the alley, that wouldn't be something you guys would pay for.
So, yeah, it doesn't really.
My guess is they might
Clear
be,
to me.
they may have.
What can I ask? What percentage of the quote is just the sign? You believe?
They're almost identical.
They're pretty close. Yeah, even my game.
Go back and
Because I guess my point is, if 90% of the cost is the sign,
24.73 for the sign.
I mean, if you're talking about
And
20 or
this
50
and,
more
well,
bucks.
the other one is new to digitally painted sign pages. So that one's a fair chunk of that is also that sign too.
Oh.
Both of them are signed.
it's just this stuff is extra. So
Top window section, so maybe after they found something, maybe say.
So they didn't give us that amount. They only gave us the window.
Yeah, they gave it.
They're just giving us-
They gave it for the signs. That's it.
So we want to do the below one, right?
Well, the request was for the 47.
But that's for the sign.
Yeah, that was for that sign. The other sign is a different.
It's 24.
The other sign's a totally different sign. Other sign's a hanging sign. This other sign's a digital sign, which is probably for the face.
You do have the most opinion. You always, again, this is them just asking for money. You could have somebody come in and just offer more explanation. I hate to delay things because we've made it so clear to people not to do this stuff until we've approved it.
You could always do what you've done in the past, which is you can approve up to a certain amount with the commission president signing off on it so that he makes the determination whether or not those additional things are in conjunction with a facade or are not.
Well, in that case, I think we could solve the motion that's already made.
I think so.
To allow for up to $21,8850 to be reimbursed with the discretion of the.
That Carl approved.
Yes, that they are appropriate facade improvements inside. Is that okay?
Yeah.
starting it. And she did contact me, and I said I can tell that, but it was part of that was it was getting near cold weather, and the painter wanted to get in there before cold.
Are you talking about the bait? Or are you talking about...
I'm talking about the one across the boat.
Oh, gotcha. The first one.
The first one. So, anyway, she did contact me. And, saw what to do. Which they did, because I saw them there yesterday.
Carl, I'm not sure you took the vote on that last one.
Okay.
I'm hearing, I'm seeing the recording secretary.
All right. All right, shall we have a vote on the Babe sign group? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing nothing. All right, the next one is, I can't pronounce the word, Restaurante. Anyway, it is the Italian restaurant that is, going into the building where the Nook was. All right, and this is once again another sign. Anyway, the project cost is $2,461 on this one, and it is. We have the grant application. We have the easement agreement, mostly signed. I guess that's my part of the sign. Okay. Anyway, but it has been, the grant agreement has been, or the easement agreement has been signed by Leanne, who owns the road. And the total on it was $2,461, which would be $1,230.50.
Yep.
Okay.
How did you decide to pick that up like that, Carl? You never cease to do it. Okay.
Is that going to be hanging, or?
Yes, it'll be a double-sided.
It's a double-sided.
It's just going to be the middle one. Sorry, I should have said that.
Okay.
Those are 3 different options. Keep picking
Oh,
the middle.
yeah. I mean, the knife and fork are on that.
Did we get 3 of those? So the middle one's the one that they chose.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot of estimates.
Seems pretty in line with the other sign.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Anyway, any further discussion? I'm going to get that on that project.
Oh, the commission, we paid 50% of it.
Okay.
Oh, it should be
$1,230.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
okay, with motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that one carries. So we got rid of 3 for that. That's pretty good.
And Carl, you're keeping all the paperwork on those.
I didn't really want it, but,
Okay, that's just as long as it's getting centralized, especially those easement agreements. We have not reported those in the past, but part of the reason we do it is we can invest in real estate as long as we own an interest. That's our interest. We generally don't report it, though, because we don't want to have to go back in and do anything with it. And so I don't want to say it's, but that's, but we do want to keep track of that paperwork. So actually, I think that would be great.
Okay, next item on the agenda is discuss the RLF program. We did have a confab about it, and we decided, what we were looking at here. After discussing it, David ran through the program and re-wordsmithed it. We got rid of a lot of stuff out of the other application, or he got rid of the other application. A lot of the language that was at the end of it was kind of,
I can run through.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Scott, Charles, and I met and ran through. There were aspects of the existing program that we talked about at a prior meeting that really probably didn't fit well with what we were trying to accomplish. And so we went through, reviewed the agreement, talked about various aspects, and I can just walk through. I only printed out a couple of red line copies. This is what I sent you before, so if anybody wants to see that. But just to kind of walk through quickly the changes, most of them were not significant. Did change the wording where it said that the loan term would be based on the useful life of the assets. Changed that to the term would not exceed the useful life of the assets. We may have something where it only makes sense for there to be a 36-month term, but it would be good for 20 years. So we just want to make certain that our language is like that. We had a rate structure that was based on the term of the loan margin over the corresponding treasury, and we simplified that down to what actually Mayor sent me a document that showed that the rate would have been 4 under prime with a floor of 3. And in our discussion, we changed that in this document to 3 under prime with a floor of 3, and removed all of the language with respect to margin of the treasury, that sort of thing. The idea being we don't want to make much money on this. We want to get people to invest, and so the lower rate should help with that. Modified the funding sources. It only really had space for the borrower, and there are multiple other sources. Brightpoint, the EDC. There are other sources in there, so to allow that everything put together to make the deal work. Added language indicating the borrower will provide invoices for each draw request and make certain that we are funding, not we're giving them money to then go and take care of. We want invoices, and we want to get invoices. Requirement that our dollars be last dollar. They should have, their pay should go in first. We really want the bank loan to go in second, although there may be times where we have to look at that and approve an exception to this, but the policy would be the last dollar. Anything that is different would then in turn be a policy exception that we would want to approve. And as with the other invoices, we want to see invoices and proof of payment on their portion and or the bank's portion before we start putting ours in. The prior policy had language in there allowing funds equivalent to $10 an hour if they put in 10 hours worth of their own labor, bought the materials, and we just removed that. It's too hard it's just not working. So we removed that. Did add language allowing for a subordinate lien position. If we're going to be adding dollars to the end of it, the bank's going to want that first position. So our position, understand that we're going to be at the back of them. And that's what this kind of program is designed for. It helps you get it.
We've done that in the past. I'm kind of surprised that this
Actually, there was language in there.
Yeah, because for the exact reason you talked about in terms of policy, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We removed the existing application. We had theoretically a scoring system in there that didn't actually have any numbers associated with it. And really, I mean, the truth of the matter is loan decisions can be scored if it's you buying a car and they look at your credit and your income. You get into this kind of deal, the scoring systems just don't make any sense because there are just too many variables and it's the whole thing together doesn't make sense. Also added language allowing for prepayment and the option for the individual to, if they make a partial prepayment, allow them the option to request that it be re-amortized. So if I pay half of it off and I still have 5 years left, obviously we're under no obligation to do that, but just that yeah. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes it does. So those are the changes. Again, you had the red line copy. I also started the process of, and I think I sent this as well, an application. That's something, the goal there was to find a common application with the EDC so that they only had to fill one out. Well, there are aspects of this that doesn't work because theirs is more for equipment, more capital, shorter term. Ours is for the building and longer term. And so I think I'm gonna sit down with Dale and Lori and say, hey, can we do a common application with them, just attachments that are specific to our, and so they would meet. And because if they're going to go to them and ask for working capital and some equipment, they're going to come to us and ask for some building work. That's different. And so it just makes sense that they would have to fill those two pieces out rather than having one really long application. I looked at it, just didn't work that way. So this is a working process. I still would really like to get to the point where it's easy for people to go either ways.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yes, thank you.
David, what are next steps to get to the point where we'll be ready to roll this out? And that's not pressure on you, but Carl, I'm assuming that you have your conversations in the past.
I have somebody that wants to apply.
Yeah.
So, no, it's not him right now. And he may, when he sees some of the supporting documents, he might not come.
And I would tell you, when I look at what we've done with the EDC, sometimes you have all of the supporting documents. They don't always all make sense relative to the application. Some of it's, you got something that's a bigger dollar amount, it's a little riskier. Yeah, we're probably going to want a bunch of stuff. In fact, we may even want to just refer them over to the SBDC, help them put some projections together, that sort of thing, which again, we do with the EDC on theirs. But you got something that's really simple and it just makes the deal work. And we don't, it's like what we do at the bank. We have things that we request, it varies from situation to situation. And it can vary very wildly between an established business and a startup. So that's a good list to start with, but it's probably also something that we need to sit down with them and talk about the deal and say, okay, what are the things that we're
and I think that, I did look through your potential, and I think it is a lot better application than the old one. And I did also look at the thing that's on the EDC website.
I stole this from the EDC.
And so,
the entity of the
change the logo to protect the
99-year lease on
Anyway, I mean, my feeling of this is, one, we need to approve the changes that have been made to the RLF, and two is that we need to approve using this application until something better shows up.
And I think, we need to decide as a group, how do we want to handle these, the review of the applications, okay? With the EDC, we have a separate committee that sits down and goes through those, and then they make a recommendation to the county. It's not, there's never been a situation, but we make a recommendation. So do we want to pull a smaller group together? Do we want to establish a smaller group? And
I think you have to, just to keep the private financial information out.
Yeah. And I would tell you, they don't, good percentage of that group are not on any county committees or anything. It's not that this group needs to do it. It's good to get somebody from business. It's good to get somebody from the financial field. We could bring doesn't need to be a big group, but it should have you should bring some different skill sets to the table. Somebody who's more optimistic than everybody.
Well, I guess my thought, I appreciate you, Carl, and Scott working on this. My thought would be I'd like to have at least maybe even Scott or something on this with a third person. Not that Carl would be able to Carl sorts his time there and walk about other things. I think we're safest just having one other commission member. Can you think of a third person without anybody?
Let me get that just a little
Okay, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we need to do it. I think we need to do it with a committee that's clearly not going to have to be subject to disclosing all the records and information. I think we can probably get away with doing just a commission that I'd like to have. You guys have a spirit of the thing. So, yeah, if you can think about that, and if we can time it out, maybe we can have it by the time the first request to actually have a review comes in. If Carl's got one in the chamber. Right?
There's one.
And I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you about that and give you my thoughts on perhaps what supporting documentation we have to have.
And I mean, in this particular case, they did source a LLC from Devon's. But they want to do other things, so they have relatives to do this. So, but in case one is interested, there's $196,899 available in the RLF fund that is money. So, anyway, that will be, that was as of the end of August. I mean, just a couple of, before we do that, in our remediation fund, it looks as though we've got $240,000.
That's the LML thing?
No. That's unexpended. And in the TIP, just so that we know, we got $223,000. And all three combined. The downtown TIP is got $138,000. The railroad one's got $83,000. And I mean, so. The Lang-Low one's insignificant.
No. And Carl, I want to clarify this, that the RLF is not related to the TIP, so they don't have to be.
It is not.
The RLF.
But we did agree to fund $900,000 for $9,000 and some odd dollars worth of the study for the jail, so that's going to reduce the amount of money that's left.
And we did that out of tax income, right?
Yeah, that'll do out of tax increment, so, yeah, you know, that still leaves a fair chunk of money available in there, plus these facade grants are coming out of TIF. So, anyway, so whatever, we approved $5,000-6,000 worth of those today, so. Anyway, that's, you know, I'm just saying that, you know,
so you would entertain a motion to approve the changes as proposed and to the program itself and the application, at least temporarily.
Okay. But I would say, subject to the wordsmithing on that document. Well, I mean, just correct. To finalize, yeah.
Okay. Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Yeah, to me, there's a lot of value to these kinds of dollars because it really can make things happen. Sees one more than once. It would just seem there's a lot of benefit to be had.
Maybe it's ours.
Another thing that I'd like us to consider is, and this is, you know, longer term, let's get this all in place and get that first application through. But I think it would be worthwhile for us to look at how do we make our community, our business community aware of the various sources that we have. And is there a way that I don't know what that looks like. I'm not one. But we have partners, you know, like the chamber, like obviously Connect, like the EDC, and is there a way that we could begin to pull some information about these programs together and include things like Brightpoint, where seeing those be part of you know, 3 or 4 partners. Way to pull all that together and then somehow disseminate it over time.
Great suggestion. That was one of the latest tweet September the final last night talking about part of their mission to the community foundation was to coordinate and facilitate partnerships in the community. And I'm wondering if that would be something we could reach out to the community foundation and see if they could see something.
If nobody else has any other, yes, we do have a request to give a presentation that is related to such.
Okay, maybe that's
Business portal, so I should have this up. You can consider it with Connect, and I can only do one thing at a time. So, but we just launched our new website, and when I say just launched, I mean less than a week ago, and it's still listed. But
That's never good when you're talking about it.
So I don't want to keep you too long, but we do have a business portal on our brand new website that has a lot of the resources. From what I hear from you, we have room that we can expand that, but okay, so this is our new website. Can I just... Okay, so this is our new website, and I'm really excited about it because, just like you were saying, among other things, but here at the bottom, we have a business portal.
It's showing the road.
Okay, So, what some of the things that we have are the RDC Facade Improvement Grant Program. We have the City of Queen City's welcome packet. We also have the paper that I showed you that has the listings of all the different places in town and some of the resources available. I think what I don't want to make it go away. Anyway,
Your document. No, your document.
okay. Anyway, what I hear you saying is it would be nice if in this business portal you had a list of other kind of resources available, like the SEC and so on and so forth, with links to those. So that could be something that we add to this piece in particular. The other pieces, or the other parts that we have of this, and I'll make it really brief because I know we're running some time, but we have these downtown listings where you can submit a rental or a property for sale or an employment in our downtown community. We have several of these already, so you have here, you can take this guy. Got it. So it gives a brief property overview. They have a chance to put a picture of the property on there and the space, and then you can link directly to their website. So what we're hoping to do is encourage people to bring their business into downtown by putting all these things together. We also have a place that, and it has the opportunity to link to that. We also have a community calendar. There it is. And we've already had several people submit events in the last less than a week, but also PBS, Fort Wayne, has submitted events to the calendar, which I think, how do they find us? But it's amazing because they are finding us. So our event calendar, I apologize.
It's on
You guys
public
were
Wi-Fi, friends. It's struggling. Okay.
Anyway, you can see that it has not only Queen City Connect events, but the museum has submitted their events. We had the Arts Coalition art tour on here, and it will, you can click the event, and it has a description of it, and then you can also click out to their website to gain more information on how to register. Oh, yeah, you can. How to register. So it looks something like this, and you can see, so oftentimes you hear there's nothing going on in Columbia City, and the truth of the matter is there's tons going on in Columbia City, and I think this is a great place that we can put all of those things, because once you start putting them on there, and these are just some of the things, I think we've had 5 events submitted in less than a week, which is, I think it's really exciting. But you can see it, and then so we'll click on, we have the homecoming, there's Andels, and Skates, the new Andel Flyers, and their event. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
Do they just contact you directly then to submit, or is there a spot on
Right
here
here,
for them?
there's an event submission right there. Well, sometimes they don't.
That's
But
okay.
anyway,
That's
you
wonderful.
put an event on
I can
there,
put you on the fast food line.
organizing it, any contact information, any links that you want, and then it has a place that you can add a description, like this is where it's at, this is what you want to do with it, and this is who's hosting it. So then it goes to, and it has to get approved by Queen City Connect, so it has all the things it allows. It has venues on there, and you can add a venue, you can add yourself as an organizer. So, and then you submit the event.
You said PBS put things on there.
that are